Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me PBJ. Welcome to another episode of Heart Work with PBJ, where we are disrupting cycles of burnout and compassion fatigue for professionals, for people who do and work from the heart. Y'all know how we do. We're here to serve, we're here to encourage, but we're also here to equip you with knowledge and tools that you need to be and do everything you were created to do. Listen, before we get into our episode today, will you do me a favor? Wherever you are watching this or listening to it, I need you to subscribe. I need you to leave a comment, leave a rating. Let me tell you what happens when you do that. When you do that, this allows this message to go out further, faster. So other people who need this message will be able to get it because you're responding to what's going on. So do that for me right now. You can pause me right now, and I need you to leave a comment, subscribe, and leave a rating so that we can hear from you and this message can get out. All right. Listen, today I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce you all to another powerful woman. You know that we're in the midst of a series right now where I am introducing you all to women from my community, my personal community, my heart work community, women that I know have experience that you all will have in common, but also that have knowledge, skills, ability to just share with you and equip you for your journey. And I got to tell you, I couldn't be more excited today about the woman that I'm going to introduce you to. So let me read her bio. I want to honor her bio, and then I'm going to let you meet her. So here we go. Dr. Wendy M. Wilson is a transformational leader with a proven reputation for advancing organizational and operations and profiles throughout post-secondary education and corporate systems. Her entrepreneurial endeavors include W2 Communications, a public relations firm that examines and develops branding, image, employment, and professional development strategies for individuals and organizations. For over 15 years, the firm has proudly influenced and created opportunities of success, yielding intended objectives and outcomes for a broad range of clients, including AARP, Academic Impressions, the City of Albany, Georgia, and AT&T. Dr. Wilson is a native of Detroit, Michigan. She holds a doctorate in curriculum leadership from Columbus State University, a Master of Science in Human Resource Management from Central Michigan University, and a Bachelor of Science in Organizational Management from Bluefield College. So, as I bring Dr. Wilson up to join us here, you have her official bio. But before I ask her the first question, I need you to know that this is my friend. Dr. Wilson is a woman who has stood by me, walked with me, challenged me, supported me. So I wouldn't dare jump into this conversation without being completely vulnerable with you all to let you know that we are allowing you to eavesdrop on our sister conversation today. My friend, my sister, I love you and I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing with us today.
I love you more, dear heart. Thank you so much for this honor. It's always a treat to be, I say that from the rooftops, from the low valleys that we've been in from time to time. How you are just such a remarkable woman, and that our my life certainly has been enriched, and certainly count you as one of my near and dear and closest sisters. So the pleasure and honor is all mine today.
Well, listen, we're going to get right into it. And this is a question that I ask all of our guests because I believe that it matters and it means everything. So let's start here. Who are you? Share with this audience.
Yes. Well, I'm a woman that is certainly evolving. Prayerfully, we'll see 56 years this coming September. But in those now 55 years, I am a woman who has seen many things, experienced many wonderful things. A woman who has had the beautiful opportunity to travel, had an amazing career that is still continuing to grow. But what has enriched me the most and contributed to my overall development is the blessing of being able to network and engage and experience beautiful spirits like yourself from all walks of life who have poured into me. I have certainly, and I continue to make it my a very conscious decision that with every experience and engagement that I have the opportunity to pour and gift to someone. That is just really important to me because it's so easy just to take. And so I take great pride in always being keeping that at the forefront of my mind. But grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Had the opportunity to live in Japan. I have two remarkable young adults that are children and have a village of godchildren as well. But a woman who is certainly trying to continue to make my mark in this world by gifting and giving to others.
You know, I have been a recipient of that gift from you. And I'm forever grateful. And even at the beginning, when you're sharing your upcoming birthday, listen, if you're not watching on YouTube, you might want to come over and take a look at this beautiful woman
Oh,
because
yeah.
56 where, okay? Please give us the secret. But in addition to your exquisite external beauty,
Mhm.
I've seen it happen over and over and over. You walk into a room and power is established. And when I say power, it's not a overwhelming, overbearing what we might think about as power, but the way you enter, the way you establish your presence, the way you communicate. Power is established in the room. Love is established in the room. A standard is established in the room. And I know that that is something that has been developed in you. Where does that come from? What is the root of the presence that you bring when you show up?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I don't know that that's always the intentional goal. So I hopefully it is just innate. I don't go in saying that I want to command the room. I want to be a part of the conversation. I want to be recognized. So often we are, as a person I remember some years ago saying, we are the descendants of Richard Wright, meaning the whole play on Invisible Man. And so we, particularly women of color, African American women, we bring our race and our gender. It meets us before we are able to open our mouths. So that's one thing that I'm always mindful of. But I don't come into a space without again trying to make a contribution and certainly to just play an active role. It doesn't always mean that I have to open up my voice to do that, but to play an active role in making a difference. I would have to say where that comes from is just my environment. I am the product of two individuals, my both my parents, uh, again, both very distinct and different personalities, but it was a really great blend. My dad was very charismatic, very charming. Both of them highly intelligent individuals. My mom was very more of on a quiet spirit, but you also knew her very beautiful and regal presence. But again, always wanting to make a difference. So I had those certainly were my key individuals. My grandmother, who will be approaching the age of 93, is still one of my nearest and dearest friends. She always taught me the importance of just owning who you are, um, uh, being proud of who you are, and just not allowing anyone to make an exception of who you are, just to stand in that moment. And then I have an aunt who is no longer with us, but she was very pivotal in my life. I always wanted to be like Aunt Eve. And in so many ways, our lives have, just paralleled. She had a career in human resources. So did I. She went into post secondary education. So have I. Still continue to stand in that space. Earned her terminal degree. I was able to do that. Pledged the same sorority. And so a love for, she taught me my love, or introduced me to my love now and passion for collecting art, specifically African and African American art. So those individuals, and I would have to say all of the individuals that I have read in books, I'm an avid reader, help to also shape and form the woman that I am today. Still evolving, still developing, still growing, but I have to say on some days, I think they really did well.
Yes, ma'am. I would agree with that. I think they've done a beautiful, beautiful job.
Thank you.
You mentioned your career path and aligning with that of your Aunt Eve.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about your career path, the work you've done, and any pivotal moments that you would highlight or give credit to really shaping who you are as a professional.
Sure, sure. He's now my ex-husband, but of course we're still partners in terms of our raising our children who are adults. So we still play an active role in that. I share that for a reason. Shortly after we married, we moved to Okinawa, Japan. Lived there for 3.5 years. It was not until we moved back to the States that my career really started taking off. I worked at AT&T, Michigan Bell, actually, before they did the consolidation some years ago, before we got married. Then we moved overseas. And so I share that to say my career path kind of looked like a checkerboard because I was here, there, everywhere. When we got back stateside, I started getting a little stability. And it was when we moved to Albany, Georgia, is when I started working in post-secondary education. Prior to that, I was in human resource management. My master's have a concentration in that. Love that immensely because I love the whole idea of developing professionally. I know that that is an ongoing process. It requires training, and the goal is not to professionally develop specific to the arena that you're in, but to have those fundamental skills, those core skills that will allow you to navigate any particular space. So I love helping people to develop in that aspect. The most pivotal moment I will never forget. I may have been pregnant at the time with my oldest, my daughter, who is now 25, and I was having a conversation with my supervisor, and just became a little disenchanted because I really looked up to this individual. And had such high hopes about what she was going to be able to pour into me in terms of my development, and just kept didn't quite hit the mark. And I remember having a conversation. My mom was still living, and she said, stop placing so many expectations on people that they may not be able to live up to for whatever reason they are in, whatever season they are in their lives. That is you who are placing these lofty expectations, not their true reality. And so if you're looking for that ideal mentor and that person that's just going to guide and shape you, you must then look for that person within you. I never forgot that. And so that kind of heightened my pursuit of the whole overall development of skills, those core assets and attributes that help us to engage in this professional space. Fast forward, moved to Albany, Georgia, went into post secondary education, and just have had an absolutely wonderful time still being able to apply many of those human resource concepts and theories and practical ways. And so in my current role, I'm still able to apply that. And then that has kind of, I just couldn't let it go. And so people would periodically ask me to either provide them with some training, whether it be DEI, professional development. I help people who are trying to secure positions with their design of their resume, cover letter, and the whole 9 yards. And so about 15 years ago, I said, well, why don't you make this official? And so thus was the birth of W2 Communications.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got to dig in there
Yeah.
because that lesson that your mother shared with you
Mhm.
about putting the burden on other people to
Yeah.
kind of develop you and pour into you, find that in yourself.
Mhm.
Can we talk a little bit more about what that looks like? Because I know I have, and I'm sure you have heard from so many people, many young professionals, many mid-level professionals who will say, I need a mentor. Will you mentor me? Will you spend time with me? Will you help me? Will you pour into me? The need and the desire is great. And sometimes the burden feels overwhelming because so many people feel that need. I love that perspective and that refocus of how I can do some of that for myself and look within. What does that look like practically? What can I do?
So as an individual, it requires some self-assessment. I encourage all of my clients, let's do a SWOT analysis. And many people, consider that, well, that's just only applicable to an organization, a business, some type of enterprise, or even a department or division. And not so. It is a great instrument that will allow you, and for those who may not be familiar with it, SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so, Wendy, what are your strengths? Wendy, what are your weaknesses? And I encourage them to do a deeper dive, not only from the professional side of that, but also personally as an individual. What are the areas of improvement? What is it about me that is threatening my success as a professional, my ability to sustain, my ability to professionally engage with my colleagues? I need to take a critical assessment of that, and let's write it down. And then with you writing it down, then let's set up a schedule with that. So 3 months down the road, let's come back and look at that and see what changes have occurred in terms of further development and advancement. And if not, what is it that's holding you back from growing and developing? So you always want to start there. Is taking a look at self, and that can be so very difficult at times. But you deserve that. Your colleagues deserve that. Your peers deserve that. Your industry deserves that. Coming to work and wounded and look, bleeding all over everyone, it impacts progress. And you do a disservice to the position, the role that you hold, the department that you are a member of, the list goes on and on and on. So that's where I encourage everyone. Let's start there, having an honest look, and then taking the necessary steps to move forward.
It's sustainability.
Ooh,
the
yes.
the service that you give, because people will say, help me with my resume, tell me what
Mhm.
job to apply for, look
Yes.
at these jobs, should I apply for this one or that one?
Mhm.
Most of that is search for validation. You don't need me to tell you what job you should go after. You can crown yourself on that. You can make that choice yourself. But when you have support in doing the deep internal work to know who you are, how you operate, but also how you engage and connect with other people, your impact on other people and your organization and your environment, that prepares you for whatever job you choose.
Sure. Sure.
It's the foundation. It is the foundation. I think sometimes our blinders are too restrictive
Mhm.
because we just focus on, I need a job, or I'm not happy with my job, or I need to make more money. But it's never, though, that's fruit on the tree. That's not the seed. That's an outcome. That's not the root of what's going on. So when they have that opportunity to walk through that SWOT assessment with you, right? Because the other thing we do is we can see what everybody else didn't do. We can see what everyone else should be doing, but it's difficult to see me.
Sure.
It's difficult to see me. I was telling a young woman last night, I said, now I can clearly see you. I can see the color of your shirt, I can see your glasses, I see your eyes, but you would have to take intentional action to go see yourself.
Mm,
I can see you, but if you wanted to see you, you would have to go to another room, find a mirror,
yeah.
stand in front of that mirror, and then you can see yourself. So
Yeah.
I see that SWOT analysis as the mirror.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we as women certainly, I don't know why that's so challenging for us, but it is. Well, I do know because we're constantly giving, giving, giving. That is just how we have been identified as in this life, and so then to say that I have to put myself first because me putting myself first will then have a benefit to you. So, but I have to do that. So us processing that can be very difficult. Excuse me, you reminded me of a client that I was speaking with. She's this wonderful opportunity where she was trying to choose. She had three job offers right before her. And she's like, Dr. Wilson, I don't know. I think I want to go with this one. I said, well, why do you want to go with that position? And so she says, well, it allows me to relocate back to, I'll be close to family. And I said, okay, that's a plus. And depends on the day though. I said, but I got it. That's important to you. And so she says, I definitely want to do that. Cost of living is a little bit lower in that area. I said, okay, that's a plus. So she started going down the list. I said, okay, well, those are all the pros. Let's talk about the cons. She paused a minute. And I had to I said, tell me a little bit about this job. She says, well, it's going to require me to be outside a lot. And I'm going to have to be involved physically in the community. And, we have to have trash pickup day and this, that. And I said, is that something that you want to do? I said, because
Mm.
to be perfectly honest, I'm not that outdoors type girl myself,
Mhm.
really, except for, with a cup of coffee looking out the window. And, when I step outside, I need the climate to be right.
Yes,
70.
ma'am.
I said, so are you going to want to be that person, that leader that is setting the example? And when it's trash pickup day, that you're out there doing that. And she's like, I don't know, because I like wearing heels and I don't really want to get too. I said, and that's okay. You don't have to apologize for that.
Mhm.
But that's going to be critical in you making your decision as to if this is the position for you or not.
Mhm.
And so it's asking those, sometimes they seem really complicated, but how does it serve you? How does
Mm.
it benefit you? And it's okay. And it's not just the accoutrements in terms of does it pay well? And those are important factors because we need to live. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, and I've learned this lesson from you, Dr. PBJ, does this make you happy?
Come on.
Does this
Come
make
on.
you happy? And so from that, she was able to come up with a decision about which, but it's just asking those questions. How is this going to serve me? Am I going to be fulfilled? Does this align with with what I like to do? I
Mhm.
tell dear friends, I think I've said to you, if I ever call you and say, listen, I think I need you to run me to Cape Canaveral or Houston, because today I'm feeling like I want to be an astronaut. That's when I need you to call my kids, my come meet me at the hospital with your mother. Yeah, because she's talking. That's so out of my element. And so
Yeah.
I think that's also important in that SWOT. I'm helping to, and there are other tools and systems to determine what it is what you enjoy doing, not what
Mm.
you're good at. What is it
Ooh.
that you enjoy doing? What makes you happy? What is fulfilling to you? The money is going to come. I promise you it is. But what fulfill and enriches you? What is a part of your calling and your gifting? And that will help you to make those decisions about your profession and your career.
Talk about discover your brilliance. I,
Yeah.
I have to I have to repeat a couple of things because I have to make sure that people haven't missed. You said not what you're good at,
Hmm.
but what do you enjoy?
Yeah. What's
So many,
fulfilling?
especially high achieving, high performing women,
Hmm.
we're good at a lot of things. And people will call on you because you're good at so many things. But just because you're good at it doesn't mean it fills your cup. And what you don't realize is the cost of doing that thing
Mhm.
that does not fill your cup doesn't allow you to do all of the other things that you are good at and you love. And
Absolutely.
you love. So to have that permission, you just gave permission.
Yeah.
If
What
you
do you
need it, you just got it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to use you as an example again. And so when you and I first met, post-secondary education, and you were just amazing, and they broke the mold when you,
Mm.
um, and I say that unapologetically. And so when you left the position, and then I was then tapped on the shoulder to say, "Hey, we need you to go and fill that spot." And I can't tell you how many times I swallowed hard, because I understood, and I still understand, the level of responsibility that anybody in the student affairs space that they have,
Mhm.
particularly if you are responsible for leading that division. So, oh
Absolutely.
my gosh. And every nightmare came to fruition, but it helped to make, oh my gosh, I remember calling you how many times, like, "Oh my gosh, this happened. Help me, tell me what to do, what to do." But what I learned, as I said, you helped me to fully understand this, and it confirmed that just because I work in post-secondary education, there are so many facets of
Mm.
that system itself. And so I knew, and this was confirmation, that although I did a good job in that role,
Yeah.
that was not my calling. That is not my ministry.
Mm.
You are on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. Those that love and care for me dearly know that my bedtime is at 8:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so that doesn't align for that profession. My point is, even though I did that well,
Mhm.
again, considering who the predecessor was, I did it well. I didn't even match up to what you did, but I did it well. My charge was, Dr. Wilson, please hold it in the road until we can identify the successor for this
Mhm.
position. And I willingly did that, because I too am committed to students. But that's even though I did it, that's not my calling. And I'm
Mhm.
very honest, that is just not my passion, my love. As much as I can run my mouth and get in many different circles and spaces, I really am an introvert.
Mhm.
And that job requires that you not only be on call, that you're at every student function, that you're networking, that you're engaging, that you're, hey, sweetheart, let me grab your hand, and hey, let me talk to you, sir, that kind of thing. And so you're just all over the place, but that's a requirement for the job.
Mhm.
And so just because you can do it and you're good at it doesn't mean that that's your calling and the
Mhm.
space that you should live and exist in. Because the reality is, positions like that, you are impacting lives.
Yes.
You are responsible for transforming lives.
Yes. Mm. I would like to add to what you just said, because I think an additional lesson there is you don't necessarily have to wait for your company or your organization to do the thing that you know you were called and created to
Yes,
do.
yes.
So when I reflect on your journey concerning W-2 communications, so when you created W-2 communications and the 15 years that you have sustained this service, that was in addition to your full-time
Mhm.
assignments in post-secondary education. That was in addition to all of the roles and all of the hats. And I've watched you do your work all for whatever it takes to do that work. And then in addition to that, you also serve from this business. So I think people also need permission, or at least awareness, that you don't have to wait to be tapped on the shoulder. You
No.
don't have to wait to be picked for the team. You don't have to wait to be invited to the table. If there is something in you that you know you're supposed to do for the world, or you're supposed to do for the community, there is probably a way for you to do that and the thing that pays your bills, the thing that takes care of your family, and that you're also good at, that also fills your cup. But both things can be true. You don't have to choose one route or the other route or the other route. We are dynamic, complex creations. So we don't have to be held within a box. If there is something urging you in your spirit, like something you see that needs to be done, and you know you have the heart, the knowledge, the skills, the ability, the access to do it, it is time for you to do that thing.
Yes.
And you can find a way to do it. We always say, I don't have time. We don't wait on time, we make time. We make time to do the things that we are supposed to do. Your example today, mother of two wonderful young adults, full-time professional, business owner, all of the community boards and committees and all of the work, and you're a writer, and I mean, all kinds of things, right? Like, we only read a little snippet of your bio today, and yet still you stand doing all of those things that flow freely from your heart. Talk to me about how we do it all. How do you do all those things?
Yeah. Who I was like, who is she talking about? Because she's
That's you, ma'am. That's you.
she does a lot. Yeah. We here's the thing that I want to shift. We somehow just we get it done, and we're sometimes even mindlessly getting it done. We're not conscious in the moment. And so that's so important to do it, because we really do some amazing stuff on a daily basis. And so while others are either loudly celebrating us, silently celebrating us, we too need to do that as well
Mhm.
for ourselves in recognizing who we are. You said something earlier, and I thought about there's a saying about um, don't be ready, don't get ready, be ready.
Mhm.
And that is certainly true. But in being ready, what we also need to stop doing is waiting for the right opportunity and create the right opportunity for us. Yeah. That's
Mm.
on your job. It doesn't even have to be an entrepreneurial endeavor. And so I encourage, oh, I'm waiting for them to ask and for them to see how wonderful I am and what I can give. And I respond to them and say, well, then volunteer. Say, "Hey, I have this idea, or I know that you need some leadership, or I know that you need a team player on this initiative, on this project. May I play a role in that?" That's
Mhm.
all about developing professionally and adding to your portfolio of skills.
Yes.
That's within the job. All of that is what they it all parlays. And so even outside of that, if there's something burning in you that you want to gift back, if you just start there. What is it that I want to give to this world?
Oh,
Yeah, how is it that I want to make a difference? Everybody doesn't need a microphone to rock in order to do that. It could be in writing. If your thing is, being behind the scenes and making it happen, then that's great.
yeah.
Or if it's being in front of them, with the microphone in hand, then do that. But you must go through that discovery process, understand that it will change from time to time. The goal also, I tell clients, is to be extremely proficient, if not masterful, at both,
Yeah.
because you don't know what may be called of you at one particular time. So you want to be able to, it's not saying that you may have a preference for one, and
Mhm.
that's okay. But
Mm.
just being mindful that certainly the last 2 years have taught us that is that things can change in a vapor. And so are you able to successfully respond in a manner that you are still a contributor to
Yes.
this environment, working to make a difference, but also living a fulfilling and enriched life? It is nothing
Mm.
like going to bed at night saying, may not have checked everything off the list, but I tried and I'm working towards, or not even working towards, I am living the life that I desire to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you spoke about celebrating, I had to smile because listen, it is not beyond the two of us to find
Yeah.
a little booth in the back of a local restaurant and have a chocolatey, sugary dessert
Yep.
shared between the two of us.
Yes.
And that is something that you did for me.
Oh.
That is something that you did for me. Two parts of that, and we don't live in the same city now, but oh my gosh, I can't explain how much I miss it because one, you saw me. You saw me. You saw when I was really struggling, when everybody else believed the mask, you did not. You saw
Mm.
beyond that smile, you saw beyond that hug, and you said, "Lunch, what time? Meet you at such and such place." So you saw me and then you reminded me and you encouraged me. Yes, we'll have dessert today, please. Yes, we will. The days that you had me at your home and there was a blanket sitting on your couch waiting on me when I got there, in front of the window that faces the garden, so I could just be so that I could just be. So I'd say that one because as you talked about it, my heart just swelled. But I think it's important for us to know that it's so real. We're not here just talking. We're trying to walk what we talk, and the people that you're connected to, even when you don't get it right, surround yourself with people who will help you, who will help you stay in balance, who will help you keep your focus, and who will love you and minister to you when you just can't do it.
That's right. Yeah.
You are a connector of people. You over and over have introduced me to powerful, phenomenal, and when I say powerful, I'm talking about their impact on my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Powerful, phenomenal people, that you feel we have a likeness of heart, a likeness of spirit, or something in our profession fits together like a puzzle. Talk to me about the importance of those connections and networks, and why you're so passionate about making connections.
Yeah. Well, I've had colleagues, and you've referred to me as this has been dubbed as the Olivia Pope of higher ed.
You are.
Okay. So making right connections, and so I received that, and I'm honored to have that title to a certain degree. I went to go see the therapist probably earlier this year with so much going on, and I'm like, and she's like, haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? So as we were catching up, she said, yeah. And I never shared this with her. She said, you're Olivia Pope, but not in the good way. And I said, tell me, what do you
Mm,
mean? And she said, Olivia Pope was also manipulator. And so you want things to look a certain way and to be as perfect as close to possible,
mm,
everybody to be well and sane and whole. And back to what my mother said, take people for who you are. It was a reminder of that, for who they are, respond accordingly. That's not your mission in life to try to fix and correct everything. So I'm still working on that. But the part that we all loved about Olivia Pope is that she was a master connector, and I have always been intentional. Didn't always get it right, but I certainly started seeing myself improve in this area probably around maybe late 30s.
mm,
Certainly, I've just love myself for this now, mid 50s. Is my inner circle A is very small, and I encourage everyone to do that. I am very strategic unapologetically. And so I make sure, there's a saying about make sure you're the dumbest person in the room of your
mm, mm.
circle and your peers that you engage with. Because if you're the smartest, then you're not being fulfilled, you're not growing, and you're developing.
Yeah.
And so you need to change your posse, your group.
Yeah.
I take great pride in being around the most brilliant minds possible that will have me in their space. And so, so that I can, get all I can get, and just bask in the glow and the glory of, Dr. PBJ, and the list is long. But I am innately a giver too, and so I know it's important for me to also to say, um, PBJ needs to meet this person. This person needs to meet PBJ. And so I take great pride in saying,
Mm.
you guys have to meet, know what you do with it. But I know that there's something beautiful that will come out of it and that the world will be greatly impacted because of this union. So
Mm.
yeah, I've got a powerhouse team, my board of directors who love Wendy unconditionally. So if I'm catching my breath on the phone and they're like, "When? What's up? You okay? You okay? How many times have I done this with you? What? Let me call you. Okay? Do I need to shut it down and help or no? I just want to celebrate this moment." And what I love about the collective relationship that you and I have, and there's some other amazing women that are also a part of this
Mhm.
circle, is that we just honor and celebrate. So there is nothing that you do that I feel like, oh my, that I know and love her. I just, oh my gosh. And I'm texting and I'm sharing on social media, like, look at what she did now. That just, oh, I can't even tell you what that means to me, because I know those deeds, those acts, the world is now that much better
Mm.
because of your contributions in the world, because of your resilience, because of your example, your ability to defy the odds. Because at the end of the day, only we know
Yeah.
those people that may have counted us out, those people that may have intentionally tried to just obliterate, destroy, but in the famous words of the Dr. Maya Angelou, and still we rise.
And still.
Yeah.
And still. And to have you in my community that we rise together.
Yes.
And that I know, oh my gosh, the celebration of anything that I do, anything, the text, the voicemail, the call, it is just going to fill the room and fill my heart because that's who you are. That's who you are. Listen, you know I could talk to you all day. All day. And we probably will when we're done with you all. We'll
Yes.
continue. But before we go, please talk about W2 Communications. What do you offer? How do you help? And how do people connect with you? Because I know that there are people here who are saying, I need that SWOT analysis. I need this connection. I need this coaching to get to my next step or even know what that should be. So, how does it work?
Yes, yes. So W2 Communications is a boutique consulting firm, and again, specializing in brand development, executive, and career planning strategies. And we do that for individuals. We do that for small municipalities. We do it for corporate systems. And again, been doing that for 15 years. So with securing us, it starts with just a discovery call. Let's identify what your needs are. It might be as simple as, hey, I'm really interested in this position. I need to overhaul my resume because I tell clients all the time, we don't want you placed in the X file because you said, dear hiring manager. We need to be a little intentional with this because employers can be very selfish. I want to believe that you're only applying to me. So
Mm.
take the initiative of finding out, okay, Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson is the hiring manager. And so that's who we want to direct our resume or our packet to. So those type of things, and then tailoring it to that job description. So it might be as simple as that to a little more advanced where we want to actually prepare you for that actual interview.
Yeah.
So we can take you through the process of, going through a mock interview, discussing what the attire will be, how you need to present your overall, what I call, what is your executive presence
Mhm.
encompass,
Mhm.
how we're going to respond after the interview, just staying in contact, networking, professional reputation, doing those little things that matter, and what I say will allow you to then stand out. We've recently, over the last maybe year and a half, officially just kind of expanded and doing executive coaching. We have been doing that and just really had not named it that. And so I've been really fortunate to, be engaged with individuals who are in the CEO suite, those who are trying to ascend to those positions, and helping them not only to get there, but to stay there, because we know
Yeah.
that success is a journey. And so again, SWOT analysis, just one of those instruments. And then also, once I get there, discover, wow, this is a lot, and I
Yeah.
want to sustain it. And so, how do I navigate that process? So, if we're recognize or identifying some workplace challenges, helping them to come up with some solutions to successfully respond to that. And then again, the ultimate goal is to be a contributor to that environment, and then make it fulfilling and enriching for yourself, because once that occurs, then you're able to give your very best to that. So, but it begins with a discovery call. Our website is under reconstruction right now, and I need to check in with the developer, because they told me they would have me something by the 15th, and so I need to check with her. But hopefully that will be out maybe mid-May.
Yeah.
Working on a book, and so excited about that. And it will be geared towards, professional development, and design, and with a leadership spin on that. But in terms of getting in contact, we have two means, or a couple different means. Certainly, we're on all the social media platforms, Instagram under W2 Communications. You can find us on Facebook. You can reach out to me, Wendy Wilson, on Facebook, and email address,
Yes.
W2 communicate with no S, W2 communicate at gmail.com. And then also have a LinkedIn presence. And so hopefully once that website is up and running, we'll have all of those listed social media contact points.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And all of this information will be in the show notes, and we will update as soon as that website is live. We will update to include that website as well. Listen, my friends, do not go it alone. Some of our frustration comes because we're expelling all of our energy like a hamster on the wheel, not because we don't have what it takes, but we don't have that coach, that motivator, that support that we need to get to the next level. It is useless and unwise for you to expend your energy in that way when there is someone who is qualified, someone who has done this work, someone who can support you and help you get to the next level. So I hope and I pray that as you are discovering your brilliance, that you will reach out and connect and get this support. Get this support, because remember, you can't see yourself. This is the mirror that you need to hold up so that you can see what's going on with you. And as you see what's going on with you and your mindset changes, you'll find that everything you've been waiting on is attracted to you like a magnet.
Yes.
It will come. It will come, but
Mhm.
you have to take the first step. So, Dr. Wilson, my
Yeah.
win, I love you.
I love you more.
I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful. I am so proud and I am so honored that I get to do life with you.
Um, Back at you, my dear sister. Yeah, I just I know you're blessed by the creator, by the individuals that are placed in your lives. And as you started off, there are just some people that I cannot imagine doing this life's
Mm,
journey without. I just really cannot.
mm,
And as many, it's always society and social media will promote the discord and the
mm,
difficulty between relationships and sister women having bonds. And we've run across those
sure.
individuals too, and it certainly happens among men, those same dynamics, because we're all human. But when you run across those individuals that you just say, you blessed me with her, yeah. And so that's rare air that you exist in my life. And I do honor that. You and I, as much as we are givers to people, we also understand the importance of just kind of protecting ourselves.
Mhm.
And you and I have defended one another
Absolutely.
over the years, making sure I've got a shielder, I got a protector, because I know the gift that she is. And so I could go on and on about you, and I know time is probably gone, but I do want to publicly say that I love you to pieces, and I am ever so grateful that the creator and the universe said, this woman, this beautiful woman, inside and certainly outside, is going to walk with you, hold your hand, embrace you, pour into you. Her a light is going to just, enter your space with that brilliant mind. This, Wendy, is one of the gifts that I'm going to give to you in this life's journey. And her name is Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson. I do not take that lightly, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity to love you and call you my sister. And so thank you for inviting me to this amazing platform. When you contacted me, I was like,
Of course. Of course, I want you. You have supported this whole journey. You've supported this whole journey. So it's overdue for the hard work community to really meet you and know who you are.
thank
So
you.
listen, we're going to let you all go. But I pray for you that you have or that you will find your Wendy Wilson, that you will find your win, that you will find that friend, that supporter, that community that will have your back no matter what, for your good, your bad, and your ugly. They love you for all of it and will stand by you. I pray
Mm,
that for you today. Listen, you are powerful, you are significant, and you are loved.
mm.
Love always. PBJ.